How's everybody tonight?
Good.
All right, well, my name is Jamie, and I am the spark in your head tonight. So it's great to be here. As Mike said, I'm the performance coach here at DelREIA. What that means is that I help folks increase their performance, not just in real estate, but in all areas of their lives. So one of the things that we do is I try to give you something of value for about 5 minutes at the start of every DelREIA meeting, and it's performance coaching oriented. It's kind of a snapshot of the stuff that we do. So tonight we are going to talk about your habits. And so what I'm going to give you tonight is a 5-step process that you can use to change any habit in your life. And so the first thing, kind of the big picture, is that most of our behavior during any given day is really about habits. Like literally most of it. Most of everything you do is just about habit. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you don't think about it, it's a habit. Now, that's really powerful for you, because what that means is that if you can change your habits at will, you can do two things. One is you can take those habits that are hurting you, right, and we all have them, and you can stop the habits from hurting you, the ones that are hurting you. The other thing is you can determine what you want to achieve, and then you can create at will new habits that will help you accomplish what you want to accomplish. So truly, the person that can master their habits can master their life, can achieve whatever they want. So I'm going to give you 5 steps so that you can change any habit in your life. All right, so the first step is understand the habit loop. So the habit loop has 3 components. There's 3 things to every habit in your life. The first thing is a cue. Now, a cue is the thing that initiates the start of the habit. The second part of the habit loop is the behavior, the habit that the cue creates. And then the third part of the habit loop is the reward that the behavior gives you. Right? Everybody got that? Habit loop, cue, behavior, reward. Right? And so the first step is to understand that every habit in your life functions along that habit loop. Every single one, every single time. So the second step then to changing your habit is to identify the habit that you want to change. Right? Identify the behavior that you want to change. So, maybe it's me and, maybe I'm eating too much ice cream at night. For those of you who know me, I like that example a lot. Or maybe for you, it's you hit the snooze button too many times in the morning. Right? So we all have those habits. So the second step is actually identify the behavior that you want to stop. Now I'm going to use the stop side of this example. I could very easily use the other side and say, okay, what is the habit you want to start? What is the behavior that you want to start? You might say, I want to exercise more. And that would just be about creating a positive habit in your life. But let me stick with just one side. What is a habit that you want to stop? So you identify the actual behavior. That's step 2. So identify it. I mean, it's not like it's hard for you to figure out a habit in your life that you want to stop. Right? Because we all have them. So that's the second step. Identify it, name it, and be very specific about that habit that you want to stop. Then the third step in the process is identify the cue that creates that behavior. What starts that behavior? And the cues are all very typical. So usually they're focused around maybe a time. So you've got behaviors in your life where the cue for that behavior is the time. So maybe in the morning, maybe at 10 o'clock, maybe you start to get hungry every day, and maybe you go eat a cookie. And maybe you've eaten too many cookies every day over the last year. Right? So what's the cue? Well, the cue is the time of day, and then there's probably a second cue where you're getting a little hungry, and then maybe there's a third cue, which is that you get a little bit bored because you've been working all morning and now you need a break. There could be a fourth cue, which is social. Maybe you have a group of folks that you meet at a certain place in your workplace at about 10:30, and the cue is social because you really want to have a conversation. It just happens to be next to the snack machine. So you go for the conversation, and then you always end up getting the cookie out of the snack machine, or whatever it is that you get out of the snack machine that you then bring back to your desk. So step 3 is identify what are the cues that create the behavior. Then the fourth step, is identify what the reward is. And the reward is going to be directly related to the cue. Right? So, for example, if you get up from your desk, let's say, at 10:30 in the morning, and you end up coming back with a cookie every day, is the reward that you satisfied your hunger? Maybe. Is the reward that you satisfied your boredom? Gave you a little distraction? Maybe. Is the reward you met folks at the water cooler and you had some social interaction? Is that the reward for you? Maybe. I mean, there's a variety of different rewards, but there's always a reward to a habit that is directly related to what cues it. Right? Always, always, always. And literally every single habit in your life functions along these mechanics. Then the 5th step, and this is the most powerful, is to change your habit, change the behavior, but don't change the cue and the reward. And that is powerful. See, what a lot of folks that I see that I work with do is they'll try to change a habit and they'll try to change a cue. It's almost impossible to change a cue once you're in a habit loop. Often they'll try to change the reward. It's almost impossible to change the reward. If you try to change a habit and you try to change the cue and the behavior and the reward, you'll find that that habit is almost impossible to change. Almost impossible. So the magic of habit change is change the behavior, but not the cue and not the reward. So let me give you an example. All right, so let's say that, let me go back to my morning example. Let's say that it's 10:30 in the morning, and let's say that you're bored, let's say that you're hungry, let's say that you want social interaction. You put whatever it is that you want in there, but the real behavior you want to stop is eating a cookie. Right? You don't necessarily want to stop socializing. You don't want to stop. You want to stop eating a cookie. So keep the cue the same. 10:30 in the morning, get up. Just like clockwork, you do it anyway. Get up. Go to that same location. Now, at that location, then change your behavior. So let's say that you don't want to eat a cookie. Well, replace it with something. So what are you going to replace it with? Well, eat something healthy. Did you say carrots? Carrots.
Apple.
An apple. Okay, that actually works. So when you get up from your desk, bring an apple. Or bring a bag of carrots. Whatever it is for you that you want to change. See, what you've done, and the power of that, is you've kept the cue the same. And the only thing that you've done is change the behavior. Now, the ability to exchange a cookie for a carrot is pretty easy if you keep the cue the same. Now, then, let's say your reward was social interaction and you got rid of boredom. Well, you can eat a carrot and have that same reward because the cookie or the carrot doesn't make a difference to the reward. Now, I could talk for an hour about this, and I just want to keep it really short, so I'm going to just leave it there. But the real power to changing any habit in your life is to keep the cue the same and keep the reward the same, and simply change the behavior to coincide with the same cue and the same reward. And you'll find that it is far easier to change your habits if you do it that way. And there's a whole science behind this. All right, so I hope that gave you something of value. Please take that. Please use that, and hope that improves your life. All right, thanks, Mike.